We're live. Let's jump into some news. Let's have a little chat about Bitcoin. And then let's go over everything that's happening in Solana and crypto. And we're going to run through this as fast as we can, nice and fast. So Bitcoin is jumping out of this channel here. As you know, excuse me, as you know, with Bitcoin, like when it was around 60,000 or thereabouts, we started to certainly think that we're going to be jumping out higher. October is a real thing. Now you can see we've got this channel where it's currently right here and it's testing the channel. So one way it can happen is that we can break out and then we can start to put in those new all-time highs with Bitcoin. Or if we start to get rejected here, then we'll probably get another higher low, which is a good thing. And then we'll have to, consolidate a little bit until it tries again. Otherwise, we're still firmly in the channel and we're starting to break out. So this overall, certainly very bullish. What's also exceptionally bullish, very, very bullish, is the fact that we're starting to get far more crazy bull posting from people in the crypto space that are, people that are connected to the crypto space, but are traditional people. And that stuff will start to roll over onto traditional mainstream very, very soon, in my opinion. Probably later this year, if not early next year. So BlackRock CEO Larry Fink declares Bitcoin an asset class and says that basically Bitcoin could become as valuable as the US housing market. The US housing market's $50 trillion. You can see it here as well. So in particular, sometimes it doesn't even matter. And this is what, the 18.6 year cycle means to people, what Jason Bazzino talks about. It doesn't matter if it's Kamala or Trump. None of that would really make a difference. Big money's big money. Narrative's narrative, media's media. That's kind of a bit of the thesis, and I think there's a lot of that validity there. The bonk guy, who I've spoken about many times, has this just summed up very, very beautifully. You're looking at $50 trillion, Bitcoin at 2.38 million. I have basically no Bitcoin. But one thing that you may want to do when you start to realize those profits on the altcoins you're doing, the meme coins, the Sol or whatever, you may want to start to flick up a little bit of BTC. Of course, at the end of the cycle, it will still go down, and there's no chance at all that it goes to this cycle, and no one's got a time period on this, but maybe this is 10 years, 15 years, something like that. We also have this, which is why, if you are in something like XRP, ADA, or whatever, if you're bullish on those, I hope your day comes. But if not, it probably is better to get some of that into just Bitcoin, just to have a little bit of safety. We've got $556 million worth of inflows for spot Bitcoin on October 14th, which is the largest daily net inflow since June. The big money's here. Once again, this is Fink here as well. This is not DGen retail. It is advisors and institutional investors continuing to slowly adopt. And then when they've got enough, or what they deem it enough, it will pounce. They will put their money into the media. The media will bring in, unfortunately, the exit liquidity, which will be your friends and things like that. So get in and hustle during this period. However, we are seeing some new investors, small amount, but 3% increase over the last 10 days, which is a positive signal. I'm unsure exactly how this statistic is realized, but more investors, more people buying, good. And what we are seeing, just to give context on why I think this could go to like a $10 trillion market cap this cycle, is we had such a small amount of daily active addresses on smart contract platforms in 2020 and 2021. And now, although this does not represent, in any way, actually 20 million people, because a lot of them are just arbitrages, bots, etc., multiple addresses, overall, you can still see the growth is pretty absolutely insane. And this will go sky high next year. Now, putting this on your radar, it's not going to pass on this occasion, but I just want to make sure that you're up to date with Futagi. And Colin House is part of the MetaDAO team, an absolute legend, a proper goat. Anyway, so he's got this out here, and it's just testing how can you use markets in another way. There, for sure, voting in the DAO or whatever, there's a lot of apathy. You know, people just click, okay, click, okay. Something like this where you can bet if something, but you're basically predicting if the price goes up or down, and that's where you're putting your money, is the way to go. Doesn't look like it's going to pass because it has to get to 90%. But just keep this on your radar. I will put it on your radar as soon as possible as well. And then I'll do my best to teach you how to do it. But we definitely want more active in terms of just people voting and stuff. Okay, this is random. Did we just get a bit of a flash crash? Or maybe it's just 24 hours just gone over the top. But everything was green a moment ago, and we're still at 65,000. And Sol's at 152. It was maybe 155, but I think we're okay. Let's have a quick look at CoinGecko on my other page here. Yeah, no, I think we're doing fine. We're greedy, so best time to buy is when people are fearful, not financial advice. Best time to maybe sell is quite often when greedy. We'll probably flick around here a little bit and then go back down. There will be times probably next year when things are really going haywire, when this will go right up to the top and it'll stay there for quite some time. And, you know, you still have to, the greed will set in for a little while. Don't think we're going to be there that much longer, but we can still go all the way to 80 because, or longer, because you can see in the past that we've still, you know, sometimes we've crept and stayed up there for quite some time. So I'm not saying sell now or anything, just we've gotten greedier than I was expecting, faster. Remember, always check out the Solana calendar. A few things going on. Biggest thing will be DBR. So dBridge launches. It now launched today. And if you want some of the DBR token, you can come here. Thus far, there's a 1.47 million. So nothing crazy, but it is gated. It's gated access. For whatever reason, they've decided to do this. I do not think this is going to hit 5 million, in which case, when trading actually starts on this day, maybe we'll have it less. But we still have 17 hours and people can come in. Remember, if you do it like this, 50% now, 50% in 6 months. Otherwise, yeah, otherwise you can go to a whales market or you can put on a long or short with drift. Now, one thing that I will be doing though, and this is certainly an actionable, is get amongst this. So stake to earn DBR. So if you're part of Bybit, you can go and flick it all, withdraw it to Bybit, and then you can go and stake it for, I'm not sure how long, 1 week by the looks of things, if you don't want to sell, that is. And then you're going to get a portion of this. You're not going to probably get a huge amount because you'll be diluted. But if you want to hold this, if you're like, yeah, I want to hold this, I think, and I could understand why you would hold it. I think dBridge is the best bridge out there, but like its token is not hyped in any way. So holding it now could be worthwhile, and then you're going to get some extra DBR rewards. If you want to sell it, of course, just sell it. World Liberty Financial's website is not loading, which is embarrassing, and I've moved it off my radar of like, yes, interested, DGM play, to you're too useless. There's no updates on social media whatsoever. Nothing in Telegram. I took this just before the live stream started. And just Web3 communities expect more. You know, if you're something like this trying to raise 300 million, you have people online 24/7, especially this close to a launch. So absolutely embarrassing from their team. And yeah, I don't know why Trump has put his name to it. But if we get new data, maybe I'll change my mind. But for right now, whatever. We can't even put money in anyway. Best performing tokens, and not meme coins or whatever, on Solana last 30 days. We've got some, the big ones, Camino and Cloud, and this is what I've been talking about and just blasting on for quite some time. We've got a lot of older ones here, with the exception of Jup being, well, there's a few exceptions, but some tokens are going to kind of pump, but you don't really understand why. Like Ray has no use, Orca has no use, Feeder from Bonfeeder, I don't think it really has much. Pith, whatever. You can make up your own mind, but this is where my party's at. This, and of course, I love my Jup. The total market cap of Solana meme coins has been going very well, and WIF is absolutely dominating, and Bonk is being left behind, unfortunately, and Popcats maybe even looking to flip. Either, regardless, love Bonk, and I think it's going to make a comeback. And there's probably going to be some new ones that start to go a little bit more viral on Solana soon as well. So when we're looking at where should we go and play, when money starts to move from Ethereum, it gives us a good indicator that, okay, we should follow that money. And I don't know if this is the first time in a while or whatever, but money has flown onto Sui. So Sui's got my attention, it's had my attention for a little bit of time. Sui, Solana, and Base, that's what I've got my interest on. And BSC a little bit. Everything else, there's only a certain amount of time we've got. But in particular, I think most of my effort will be over here and BSC. However, there is some Sui FUD. And following some allegations of Sui insiders selling $400 million worth of tokens throughout this run-up. And you can take this however you like. There's not enough transparency to make a decision one way or the other. Basically, they redeemed a huge amount from staking rewards, $184 million, transferred to Binance, OKX, and Bybit in small but high-frequency forms. The tokens of the stake account come from Sui Foundation, apparently. Having a look here, but it's in another language. And then what we've got here is, and in fairness, like Kyle Samani is a Sol Maxi, and I think he's great, but just being transparent here. But this is what he says, like, this is written as deceptively as possible. Perhaps the insiders collectively sold. Who knows? The obvious party that is explicitly excluded from the list is the foundation itself. Do your own research. Right now, Sui's kind of consolidating past its, from its all-time highs. But either way, still a place that I want to go and play on. The Sol staking address of FTX Alameda redeemed a huge amount of Sol. They're more than welcome to do that. And they've gone and flicked that out to Binance and Coinbase. And, this is what the trustees are going to do in terms of recouping money. So they're allowed to do this. And there's obviously always going to be sell pressure on these big tokens. Greed Academy, an update from Greed. The first semester rewards claim is now open. Greed has done very, very well in terms of teaching people. One thing is, a lot of people ask, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? They're trying to teach people how to fish, whereas quite often people just want to be taught. They just want to click here, click here, click here. So they've done a very, very good job. And if you can't work out how you're doing it, just read their posts. But it's done. It's been some pretty juicy rewards if you did the lessons. So as an example, staked 2 Sol with Greed Academy and earned not only knowledge and Greed Academy and Validator, but also priceless knowledge. Now, I am the general manager of Validator.com. Stake your Sol with us. But you can, of course, stake Sol with other validators as well. I would suggest not going for like the biggest ones. If you don't know who they are, well, you can see them at something like stakeweight.net. Don't go for the biggest ones. Go for the smaller ones. Go for the ones with under 1 million Sol. And decent return. Like, this is a properly decent return. Now, this here, I don't know what it is, but I'm putting on your attention right now. Up to 1% of our total supply of whatever this is will be available for the first 10K users. So very, very small, 1%, but whatever. There's a form you have to fill out, and this is if you have a Saga or a Seeker. You have to fill out this form in various forms like Discord, Twitter, and an address. You can do that if it interests you. Wormhole is now live on Unichain. So we've mentioned Unichain a couple of times, particularly from the viewpoint that not bullish on Uni's token yet, unless something changes hugely, but there could be another airdrop potentially, and Wormhole may airdrop again. So this is maybe like a 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm not doing it myself yet, but that's just because I think Ethereum's kind of losing value, and I wouldn't want to move ETH there at present. But if things change, and if you're interested in this sort of stuff, then it could be worthwhile. Or if you have some stables you want to go and put into like a stable coin thing. At present, it's only testnet, but like, past the testnet, you may want to move some stable coins over there. So Unichain is a new L2 by Uniswap designed for DeFi, boosting fast blocks and decentralized validated network. Don't think so. It's going to, at present, it's all going to be by the actual Uniswap Foundation or along those lines. But nevertheless, Wormhole is working over there. So it would be worthwhile doing it. Putting this on your radar. This is more so for anyone that's looking to get into NFTs, create an NFT, buying into something. If it's an IP play, I hope they're doing something like this. So Genesis have a great video, be linked below. And basically, like the proper IP play, not the IP plays we thought we're having back in the previous cycle. It's a lot of money if you can actually make your stuff sell. And if it's cool and branded well, like Klanos is, like Pudgy Penguins is doing very, very well. But one thing is, D-Reader has their comics, and Genesis, they have joined the waitlist here in order to maybe actually use your project's IP in this form to actually start and reach the masses. All right, let's go through some actionables, and then maybe just a couple of questions, and we'll end. So DCA Sol on Jup.ag, stakewithLD.com, of course, Claim Your Greed Academy first semester rewards, and then if I give this a refresh, we're going to see that. Let's take off the Trump stuff because unfortunately the website's no longer working. If you pre-order Solana Seeker, sign up for the Mine airdrop, or if you have a Saga. Haven't done this myself because I don't know if we're in the first 10K, but it's on your radar now. And airdrop actionables, the normal ones: Jito Sol Meteor Pool, Uniswap's test swap. I use Wormholder Bridge to Unichain's testnet, and use Cube Exchange and earn some blocks. So that's all for today. We'll do a couple of quick questions over here, and we'll go from there. It's not a question, but thank you very much. Intermittent fapping. Okay, interesting name. Funny. Hi all. Thanks for tuning in. What's my opinion on Uprock versus Grass, DPioneers versus Grassbuds? Appreciate your content and dedication. Thanks. So, all right, DPioneers and Grassbuds are both NFTs. The DPioneer has a different model, and the Grassbuds, you probably wouldn't want to buy one now because it's probably, if they are getting a token allocation, the snapshot would have been done. The good thing about Uprock versus Grass, and Uprock's token hasn't done well, and that's okay by me. It's annoying, but it's okay because I still think, why am I still full screen? All right. The thing is, sometimes you've got different ways of doing it, but sometimes when something runs up really hard, like Uprock's token is not, whereas Grass is like 97 cents at a fully diluted valuation of $1 billion or something along those lines, whereas Uprock is down here. I think the market cap is fully diluted is like 18 million, right? And they sold to investors at 40. So it's half price to the VCs. All they have to do is work out that revenue generation and turn it on and just go hard. So I'm still supporting this. I think this is going to have far more upside, but Grass will probably be maybe a surer play. So if you've got any doubt in your mind, Grass is probably going to, maybe it's going to go eventually throughout the cycle, like $1 to $2 or $1 to $3. I'm not sure actually, but whereas this could be like, 1.7 cents to, I haven't done the math, but like 50 cents or whatever. It has a stronger multiple. So I'm accumulating a little bit of UPT, and with my Grass, I'm just going to hold my Grass. All right, quick next question. BB Sol APY is 21.8. Okay. Brilliant. Where is that APY? So Sanctum, we'll just find their website via their Twitter very quickly. Unless that was at the tweet just here. No. LSTs, BB Sol. Cool. Well, the boost their rate. Brilliant. It's not going to stay there for very long. And you'd want to verify that it was actually going up like that and there wasn't just some sort of API error. Because, yeah, you do have to be mindful of things like that where you get in, you're like, oh, great. And then it drops to below average. So you get a week of high rate and then it drops down. Not saying it's going to happen here, but it certainly could. Cool. Look, thanks for the compliments, but any questions you can ask them. We'll do a proper AMA maybe at the end of the week. But right now, here's a question. Bullish on D-Bridge. I've answered it a few times. I think it is the best bridge out there. I think when it comes to a token, tokens are really hard to do. And every like few weeks, the narrative changes and you get more kind of information. So there's general things such as like meme coins are playing well because all the tokens out there, people can do what they like with it. Whereas, those gotten early, those that are like that work on the project, that pump it up, that make memes, that make things go viral, they do well because of price appreciation. You don't get that with a normal token like D-Bridges, where the community gets a very small amount. It's an 18% float or whatever. So it's hard for me to say how it's going to go. Same thing with Pith. Great network, great Oracle network. Is the token very good? Well, I don't think so. It doesn't seem to be outperforming. It's got massive unlocks of, millions of dollars, and it's significantly down. I'd rather a token go up slower, like my Caminos, like my Clouds, which I am bullish on, than something like Pith or W or D-Bridge. Having said that, so Pith, great, but that's all I can say. D-Bridge, though, I want to be clear on the one thing here. It's affordable. So this is, I think, meaning it's going to launch like a $250 million fully diluted valuation, and crypto is very, very decent. And if this doesn't go higher, we've got 16 hours to work out if it does. Then when trading actually opens, you can probably go and set some limit orders at a low amount, or like it'll tank potentially. But I don't think it's going to tank. I do think it'll go higher than this. Just that lockup is kind of nasty. But I don't understand. I don't understand why they've done it their way, why they've tried to become all exclusive. I think it's because they don't need our money. They don't need our money because they have very, very good revenue. And because of that, they've got plenty of runway for years. And I would love to do a podcast with them and just find out why the token. Anyway, I think that's all. I've got one last thing here. Any news from Intent Trade? Look, the Intent Trade is the same team behind Whales Market and the same team behind GM.ai. And the last messages I've put out to like request information from the team have not been replied to. And with Whales Market, they no longer buy and like burn their token, and just very, very disappointing effort. So that's kind of, yeah. The DApp, like I covered the DApp because the DApp was cool. Like it has product market fit. But if the transparency from the team stops, then it's kind of, you got to give it up. If I'm from the US and I still a little bit confused on how I can participate if my country is current restricted. If you're from the US with D-Bridge and you cannot access this website, then this is not legal advice, but you could probably use a VPN to get around that. That's not legal advice or advice in any manner, but you should just respect the laws of your land. And yeah, otherwise you can buy this token most likely when the launch happens on the 17th, or you can potentially buy it from Whales Market for essentially the same price. I think that's all. That's all for today. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll catch you tomorrow.